Hello and welcome to the post tumultuous
Quarterfinals.
quarterfinal episode. As always, I am your host, Dalton Van Pelt Scotch on the sidelines. Got the audience back here. Both cats decided to come hang out downstairs. New locations today. There's some things going on upstairs, and wanted better audio quality. So here we are.
There you go. Same. I am also in a new location for this podcast. I am in Denver, Colorado, not in DIA this time, but at my wife's parents' house. So gracious enough to sneak away for an hour to recap the quarterfinals.
So let's recap real quick. Where all have we recorded this show from this year?
I was talking to Sarah about it. It's my third location, like unless you're counting the two different offices of mine in Sheridan. No
location. I think I am. I think I'm only at two.
Yeah. Where at? You are at your house and where else?
San Diego.
San Diego. And then mine has both been in Sheridan or Denver, but the Denver locations were at DIA and now my wife's parents' house.
All right.
I even packed the mic. I was ready to go. I was prepped this week. I was like, I'm bringing it. I'm gonna find an hour, and worked it out.
It would have been pretty funny. I floated to Zach the option of doing the show from a perimeter vehicle at work. I don't think we would have been able to release the video if we did it that way, to be honest with you, but that would have been kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
did you watch much football this weekend?
I watched more than I usually do because I had Monday at home and I was at work on Sunday. So funny enough, when I work on a Sunday, I actually have more time to watch football than when I'm at my house.
All the inmates want to watch the games too.
Well, I am now the segregation supervisor.
There you go.
So once all the work was done, we sat down, me and my officers, and watched the Cowboys and Giants game.
Nice.
This was the only one that was on during the morning.
No Tulsa, Oklahoma channel?
It's still that channel? Way. Anytime I try to get on the computer on my YouTube TV at work, it pops up as Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like yesterday, I tried watching, like I logged in to see which Fox game I was going to get.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're welcome to Tulsa. You can watch the Washington football team and Philadelphia Eagles. And then I got home and had to finish watching the Rams and Seahawks, which I just kind of had on at the bottom screen. And I didn't really digest anything that was happening outside of the fact that
Cooper Kupp things. Yeah. Again, I sent out a tweet today. Someone, I don't know if you had seen it. Someone asked, it's just a fantasy thing. Asked, let me pull it up real fast. Give me one quick second. Dead air.
Oh yeah.
It said, what would your one fantasy football ask be from Santa Claus? I said to go back in time and draft Cooper Kupp over Robert Woods 100% of the time.
Yeah. You could get them in about the same spot.
Yeah, they went in the same area. Like it was kind of like, well, who do you want? I mean, it's a new quarterback. And pick your poison.
I was honestly in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with either one of them, but to go back in time and know what we know now, man, Cooper Kupp 100% of the time he's a first round pick next year. I still don't believe he's the number one overall wide receiver next year, but very good chance he could be.
All right. IRL football. We will get into more recap when we get there.
Yeah, definitely.
How many games have the Colts played on Thursday night? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. They've played
a lot.
Quite a few on primetime. We've got to see a lot of them in the last few weeks. That Jonathan Taylor run at the end of the night, that little jump cut. Oh, that was sweet. The one that iced the game. It was
since the 0-3 start, the Colts are doing amazing.
Mm-hmm. Wentz was all Jonathan Taylor in the defense. I believe Carson Wentz was 5 of 12 for the entire game. And then Jonathan Taylor, carried the rock the entirety of the game. And then the defense had a pick or a blocked punt touchdown. So that definitely helped.
Is this one of the ones that we bet on? I can't remember.
It was.
I definitely bet on this game.
We had 2 bets in that game because we both took one side of it. And that was the over 49.5 completions. We both took the under.
And did we bet on the interception?
We bet on the spread.
Okay.
And you did capture that victory. Plus 2.5, I believe it was.
No, it was minus 2.5. They were favored.
Yeah, I was plus.
Yeah, you were plus.
Yeah, I took the Patriots.
The Patriots.
Yep. So you got that win, but it was a 1 so you went 2-0 on the Colts game. I went 1-1.
What was our other bet on that one? The over?
The over. We both took the under on the completions.
Oh, on completions.
Yep. Total completions. It was a DraftKings special. It was like 49.5.
Oh yeah.
Over under
31 was the Carson Wentz 5 of 12.
5 passes.
That was the opposite game script. Mac Jones with 45 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up with 2 interceptions, and Carson Wentz with the 1 interception. I did not see any of this game whatsoever.
Yeah, I didn't watch much of it. I have no idea what I was doing, but it did not intrigue me to watch that game.
Even with the bets, man, sometimes gambling doesn't really do much for it. But
no, it's not a game we were super intrigued by. But
Jonathan Taylor is the number 2 fantasy MVP overall, I would say, behind the aforementioned Cooper Kupp.
I'd say he could be just the overall MVP because where you drafted him, like it's what you expected. Like,
think about where you drafted Kupp.
Well, I know
the value,
but he's a first-round pick that absolutely produced. And I mean, Cooper Kupp is no doubt about it, fantasy MVP as well. But you weren't expecting those type of numbers from him at that point. Everyone expected Jonathan Taylor to be this stud lead running back. And I think it's going to we'll foreshadow, where people are going to go next year. But obviously Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp are both going to be top 5 selections probably. Jonathan Taylor's probably going to be the number 1, maybe number 2 running back, depending on how people see how it works out. But he's a stud, man. He legitimately could win the MVP this year in the NFL. Same with Cooper Kupp. Like, those 2 folks actually have a legitimate shot of being the MVP because the quarterback play has been good, but not outstanding. Where the MVP race is between Tom Brady, who has been good, obviously.
He's had some bad games.
He has had some bad games. Aaron Rodgers has probably been the most consistent of the quarterbacks. And now Patrick Mahomes, he's won, 8 in a row now. So, I mean, that's your leading MVP race right now. But Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor have been absolutely unstoppable all year long, no matter what matchup it is. And they both legitimately could be in the MVP race. I did see one thing on one show. They thought the NFL should introduce a Cy Youngish award for quarterback
conference.
No. Like a Cy Young award, the best quarterback in the league.
The MVP can be anyone else.
Exactly. Which I thought was pretty interesting.
That is cool
because it has been the quarterbacks for so long, and it's hard to reward these players like a Derrick Henry last year who ran for 2,000 yards. Like, that's an amazing feat. Cooper Kupp could potentially break Calvin Johnson's all-time receiving yards in the same amount of games, which I think he wants to obviously do because they'll be he's at 1,500 yards. Or same with catches and because people are gonna be like, oh well, they have 17. They played 16 games instead of 15 or whatever, or 16 and 17 instead of 16.
Yes.
But I think that'd be kind of an interesting award. If it was just there's a specific quarterback award, where that player could win MVP. I mean, not many. I mean, going to baseball terms, not many MVPs also win the Cy Young, but it's
Clayton
possible
Kershaw,
to do.
I think, was the last one.
It's possible to do, no doubt about it. But I thought it was pretty interesting. It kind of made my gears turn. I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense with how dominant the league has been in passing in the last decade.
I actually had a mess up. That game was on Saturday that we were talking about. The Thursday night game was the Chiefs and the Chargers. For some reason in my brain, I thought that the Chiefs played later in the week.
Also a game we bet
Obviously,
on.
this was a monster game, another one we bet on, but I think we both took the Chiefs.
No, I
You took the
swapped
Chargers.
and I went with the Chargers, which was
Uh,
great before it went to overtime.
Yes, and then in overtime, the walk-off touchdown by Kelsey right before I went to sleep. Kansas City tied the game and then went into overtime.
Both of Kelsey's last two catches of the game went for touchdowns.
And and they both were after I went to sleep. And then I woke up this morning on Friday morning with quite the amazing result.
Yeah, I was
points from Kelsey.
And I was super stoked. I mean, obviously we played each other this week and I had Tyreek Hill and Tyreek Hill was going off and Kelsey didn't have much going into the third and going in the fourth quarter. He had like 5 for 90 or something, which I mean, respectable game. But then he just went absolutely berserk in the fourth quarter in overtime. And I'm like, well, shit. And there we go.
Yeah, I really didn't have that big of a lead leaving Thursday night, even despite the 41 points from Kelsey. But you don't expect 41 points off your tight end. That's pretty remarkable. That's what you need in the playoffs.
But he does have the ceiling to do that. He plays in one of the best offenses in the NFL. He is an elite tight end. You took him in the first round for a reason. It's nice to see. I mean, it's nice to see your first round pick paying dividends in the first round of the playoffs. I mean, even when I took Tyreek Hill, like I was, 30 points. I was totally stoked for 30 points. It still gave me a shot to potentially be in the game. Overall, that game was a little weird. Austin Eckler didn't play his full complement of snaps coming off the ankle injury. He did score about 19 fantasy points. Herbert was pretty great. Keenan Allen looked good. Jalen Guyton caught a touchdown. Justin Jackson got some run in that game. But yeah, Chiefs ended up pulling that one out. A lot of big performances from the Chiefs. I mean, the big three, obviously, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all went bonkers in that game. And it made for an interesting weekend in the Gym City Gridiron, that's for sure, to start the week off.
Bills beat the Panthers 31-14. Cam Newton has a good fantasy day, but a bad quarterback day. Josh Allen plays well. Devin Singletary is now the lead back out of nowhere.
Yep.
What else?
Gabe Davis, man, two tutties. Manny Sanders kind of battling that knee injury. Gabe Davis is kind of emerged as that number 2 wide receiver. Obviously, Dawson Knox is still involved, but Josh Allen and Gabe Davis have that connection from late season last year, which is kind of about the same time where Gabe Davis started going off last year. Like I said, Gabe Davis 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs catches a touchdown. Stephon Diggs has been good all year, but not where you thought he would be. Still a wide receiver 1, but not the type of receiver that you were thinking you were getting in the end of the first, early the second, to explode with Josh Allen.
Bengals beat the Broncos 15-10. Teddy Bridgewater goes out with a concussion. Drew Lock comes in. He plays pretty decent, to be honest. Both running backs play after there was concerns that neither running back would play. Melvin Gordon with the touchdown. No, sorry. Fake news. Not much else happened this game. Joe Mixon got banged up a little bit, I believe. So Samaje Perine might be in line, and Tyler Boyd it's his turn for the week of production.
Yeah, the Bengals receivers, obviously, it's kind of a revolving door, whether it's Chase or Higgins or Boyd. Again, it was Boyd this week. Boyd has been kind of on the back burner, but Mixon did go out at the end of the game with an ankle injury. I expect him to play this week. I mean, they're leading the division. I mean, everyone's thought, the AFC North is a tough division. They're only going to get one team in. I guess maybe they could sneak a second one in, but with the Bengals leading the division at 8-6, they're kind of in the mix right there. So Jamar Chase, a lousy game, but with so many weapons, I mean, obviously some players are going to focus in on him. the Broncos, I mean, obviously Patrick Surtain was on Jamar Chase. The Broncos are so weird. The Broncos went from being, I think, tied for first in the division to being last in the division this week. So that's another division that's super tight. But the Chiefs are going to take command of that division pretty easily, and they're actually the number 1 seed now.
Do you want to hear a weird stat line?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wyoming today beat Kent State 52-38.
Yesterday.
Wyoming was yesterday, starting a true freshman quarterback, Levi Williams, out of Canyon Lake, Texas. 9 for 11, 127 and a touchdown. All right.
Yep.
Who cares?
Yep. This is crazy.
16 carries, 200 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Do you know what just happened today, though?
What's up?
He just entered the
transfer portal. Oh, no.
Yep. 3-star recruit. He's out.
Poor Wyoming.
Yep.
That's all right. He only threw for 990 yards this season with 9 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
Yeah, let's not talk about Wyoming.
They'll be all right.
They suck.
I mean, they won the Idaho Potato Bowl, which apparently is the only bowl they're allowed to play in.
Because I think they only allow the losers in that bowl game.
But they've won it 2 times in a row.
Man, they are loving those potatoes.
That's right. Lions take care of the Cardinals. Yes, I said that correctly.
Yes. Dan Campbell, man.
12. What in the absolute shit is going on? Blaster equals Lions?
Maybe. The Lions haven't lost in a month. A tie and 2 wins. The last 3 weeks, 2-0-1.
That is a wild stat. The
great.
Lions just keep covering. I don't know if you guys have been listening to the show or not. I have been so dumb that the only week I bet on them to cover, they didn't against the Broncos.
Oh, so they did lose last week. So they were 2-1-1 the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, winning record.
Yeah.
There's a weird one. I left Josh Reynolds on the bench. He is the deep play target.
Mm-hmm.
Monroe St. Brown is starting to get some production, which is awesome for him.
Craig Reynolds.
Craig Reynolds.
Love it,
the
man.
Lions just keep producing running backs that we'll never hear of ever again.
Yep.
And Kyler Murray was pretty much ineffective. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Yeah, first week with Hopkins out again, trying to figure the offense out. Also trying to mix Chase Edmonds back into the offense after returning from the high ankle sprain. Him and James Conner did split time. Both put up decent days, but that's what's going to happen when you get a split backfield. James Conner is definitely still the goal line back. Yeah, they're going to have to kind of work some things out because they're now kind of in a dogfight for the division title now with, the Rams winning on Monday as well.
Yep. Not much else to talk about here. I'm sure the Cardinals will get back to standard business. It's just the NFL is really weird.
Yeah, and everyone loves Dan Campbell. And, like, the more and more I see about Dan Campbell, like, the more players like him. And, like, just, yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how the Lions are going to, progress in the next few years, but Dan Campbell he's not getting fired this year. So, yeah, he's just a great coach. I mean, people love him.
I should have dubbed this my lock of the week. I might have. I don't remember. Texans over Jaguars 30-16. Brandon Cooks with the huge touchdown and the huge day. Davis Mills outperforms Trevor Lawrence. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, I really thought Trevor Lawrence was going to bounce back this week after the Urban Meyer firing. I
didn't see it.
That I know. I thought it might happen because it is the Texans. They're not, a great team. But the Texans, 2 of their wins have been against the Jaguars, which is just great. But it's just going to be interesting to see how the Jaguars take this approach this next year, who they're going to hire and how they're going to, try to develop Trevor Lawrence. Because obviously Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 pick. Everyone thought he was the best prospect since, Peyton Manning, John Elway. We'll see if whoever this next coach is can come in and, work on those tools and
Joe Judge. Not Joe Judge.
Joe Brady?
Joe Brady?
I mean, maybe. What about
that would be a long shot. He did get fired from the Panthers. So
yeah, that was kind of like we need to fire somebody. But I don't think he's going to be quite. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he if he does get that head coaching job, because he, he's never been a head coach. That's the hard part.
Offensive mind is what we're talking about here.
What about
we all know you need to hire an offensive mind.
What about Eric Bieniemy, Kansas City Chiefs OC?
It's time.
Yeah, he's been on the cusp. That'd
be a good move.
Time. Yeah, like that.
It'd be a non-splashy move for the Jaguars. Like they don't need a
splashy hire.
No, they don't.
They need
somebody who's going to do something.
That's been there, done that, willing to take a shot. I mean, I think Eric Bieniemy would like it's not a flashy name. It's not like one of these like retread OCs or head coaches.
Right.
Little fresh blood, first OC job or first head coaching job.
I think Darrell Bevell is a retread anyway. Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm. Who else would be a good name there?
Oh, Darrell Bevel's only ever been a interim coach. My apologies. I thought he had been a head coach.
No, I think Eric Bieniemy would be a good fit there.
Oh, wasn't Darrell Bevell? No, my apologies.
What do you think about?
Remember.
What about Eric Bieniemy? What do you think?
I think that'd be a great fit.
Yeah.
You put Trevor Lawrence with his ginormous arm into that Kansas City Chiefs offense, and I think that would be nice.
Yeah, I think
they
that's
have the
great
talent.
Fit.
On
exactly.
Offense. They have the speed. They have some playmakers.
They have the skill positions. I mean, Marvin Jones.
They just got to put it all together. Laviska Shenault.
Marvin Jones isn't fantastic, but he's a good receiver. James Robinson's a very good back. You're getting Travis Etienne back next year coming off the foot injury. I think Liz Frank. Yes. Yep. I think Eric Bieniemy might be the spot for Jacksonville.
I'm sure they're going to fuck it up somehow, and it's not going to be him. But we can hope. Man.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, probably. And then they'll fire him in 2 years instead of one.
Oh man.
The chin will be making a comeback in no time. You watch.
No, Cowher's done.
Dolphins beat the Jets. This was a high-scoring game, but no one you expected to score scored.
The Dolphins have won 7 in a row after starting 1-7.
That's hilarious.
1-6, 1-7.
It would have been 0-7. There's no way because they're 7-7 now.
Okay, so they started 1-6. No,
and have gone 6-7. I will look at it right now.
Yeah, they've gotten going.
They've won 6 in a row.
6 in a row. Tua's playing good.
They won their first one against the Patriots of all people, and then lost 7 in a row. Yeah, Tua's been playing great.
Yeah, great.
He's doing everything they need him to do. He's being hyper efficient. Of course, he did throw 2 picks this week, but it didn't hurt him too bad. I listened to the Dan Le Batard show. They're talking all about how Tua is now finding it.
He is, and I think he's very good. The running back room
Parker
the running back room's a little wonky right now.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate for me. But
yeah, Duke Johnson, the corpse of Duke Johnson is coming out, just like Cordero Patterson and all these other guys.
This has been the year of the zombie running backs.
Man, it's been crazy. Granted, obviously Myles Gaskin just came back off the COVID list. Duke Johnson's been practicing with the starters the last 2 weeks. He blows up. And then with Jalen Waddle out this week, Devontae Parker, after his first couple years in the league, obviously everyone was so disappointed with him. And last year he had a couple years ago, he had a really good year. Last year, he had kind of had a down year, but he's back to being a stud this year. I'm not sure.
No,
not a stud, but I mean, he's been, when he's played, he has missed games this year with injuries.
No, he's 34 for 457 and 2 touchdowns. You get out of here with a stud. He was way better last year than he is this year.
Oh yeah, but when he's played, he has missed quite a few games this year. With a hamstring injury. Will Fuller hasn't played 1 game, 2 games.
Devontae Parker has played 7 games, 6 starts.
So
that's not bad for what he's played. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in the time he's played, he's been good. I think he's been on IR the last couple of weeks. But with Jalen Waddle out, it was nice to see him, come in and have a good game. I have a soft spot for Devontae Parker.
He was good for me 1 year when I had him.
One of my team names from a few years ago. And ever since I changed my team name
Devontae's Inferno
to Devontae's Inferno in another league, he's been awesome. So you're welcome, Devontae. Keep doing great things. That is
All
not
right.
that is not my room, is it?
It
No,
is my
it is
room.
my room.
Yep. The
Hey,
white
Myron.
under chin. All right. And he's being friendly. Moving on. Cowboys, Giants. The Cowboys should have scored way more points in this game, but they, for some reason, took their foot off the pedal.
As they have seemed to do.
Jake Fromm got like the fourth quarter work. These sweatpants are way too thin for him to be using his nails. Zeke. Finally, Zeke had a decent game.
Decent. Not great, but decent.
I don't know why. Oh, it was 123 total rushing yards in the first half or something crazy like that. Tony Pollard went off like he always does, but he was injured going into it. No one thought he was going to be doing anything. Dalton Schultz was the main contributor in offense. It seems like the Giants just full on committed to stop all the outside receivers. So Prescott said, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think the way to look at the Cowboys right now, obviously one of the running backs is going to do well. We don't know which one.
They both had a decent game in this one.
And then obviously CeeDee Lamb is going to do great things. But then it's kind of like, well, is it Amari Cooper? Is it Michael Gallup? Is it Dalton Schultz? This week it was Dalton Schultz. Gallup had like 3 for 32. Amari had like 2 for 10 or something, 2 for 8, something like that.
Wasn't great.
No, not great. But the defense, man, how many times that we have not talked about Dallas Cowboys and winning with their defense in so long. And this
year is unique for sure.
Very unique. And their defense has been amazing. Micah Parsons could win that. They're talking about him winning the
defensive player of the year.
The defensive player of the year, and obviously defensive rookie of the year. Obviously, if you win defensive player of the year, you better win the defensive rookie of the year. Like that's wild to be that dominant. They said he's been splitting time so much at rushing the passer, but also playing in coverage. Like they're comparing his stats to the year James Harrison won defensive player of the year. And that was with James Harrison just rushing the passer, basically.
19 sacks, I believe, for James Harrison that year.
And so, like, to be that dominant, and James Harrison's a badass, to be in the same sentence as James Harrison and in your rookie year is, like, ridiculous. Like, you watch him, and he's just
all over the place.
Beating folks. And it's really sweet. Like, he's beating people rushing the passer, but he's also great in coverage. And the best part is they traded back to get him. Like, I can't believe Dallas finally took some defensive players and they've actually hit.
They took 7 defensive players this year and it's paying off.
And they traded back behind both of those corners too, Patrick Surtain and JC Horn.
I believe they missed out on one of them.
Yeah, well, they traded
like screw it.
Yeah, because JC Horn was picked 8th. By the Panthers.
Panthers?
Yep. And then they traded back, and the Broncos traded up to get Surtain, and then they
over the Cowboys. Yep.
And then obviously traded back, and then got Micah Parsons at 11. So
Jalen Smith signed on with the Giants and played against them in this game.
Yeah. Enough. Yeah. I was surprised he didn't get called for a taunting penalty.
No, he was slapping it up with them, high-fiving, everything.
But yeah, the Cowboys, another win. They're going to be clinching that division title very soon, which is funny. I believe only one team has actually clinched a playoff spot. Only one team.
And it's the Packers?
I believe it's the Packers only. Everyone else is I think there's 5 teams eliminated from playoff contention, but only one team has actually clinched a playoff spot, which we're going into week 16, 3 weeks to go in the NFL
that's
season.
Weird.
Been one of the craziest
with 14
seasons.
Teams making it too. That's weird.
And not even divisions have been clinched except the Packers. I believe Packers have clinched the division.
Yes. Weird one. No, I don't think they've clinched the division, but they've definitely clinched playoffs.
No, they've clinched the division. They're 11-3. Vikings are 7. 7
Oh, okay. And there's
so they have
3 weeks left.
Yep. So they have a 4-game lead with 3 to go. So they've clinched their division. Not that they haven't clinched a first round bye or anything like that, but they've clinched the spot.
Weird one. Titans lose to the Steelers. Steelers had no business winning this game and still pulled it off. Chris Boswell. Yeah,
if you're watching the video reaction, like, can the Steelers just stop winning? Like, it's been so ugly. It's hard to be a Steelers fan right now where like it's great they're winning, but where's the future? Like maybe they're gonna squeak into the playoffs and maybe they'll get a win in the wild card round. And congrats, now you're gonna get to play the Chiefs and you're gonna get destroyed and you're gonna pick 20th. And what are you gonna do? Are you gonna mortgage the future and trade up for a quarterback when the quarterback class is dog shit right now? So maybe that's why they're trying to win right now, because the quarterback class is awful. Get another position player.
What if they mortgage their future for the Pittsburgh product? Pick it.
No, I think I think it's more realistic that they're going to trade for a quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Well, either they trade for a quarterback or they're going to skip. Or they
skip this year.
Yeah. Rumor. I mean, not necessarily, but there's obviously rumors tying Pittsburgh to Russell Wilson, to Aaron Rodgers. Obviously with the position players that they have, like you got a good running back in Najee Harris and the receivers and Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth being, an emerging tight end. It's intriguing for some of those quarterbacks like a Russell Wilson, like a Aaron Rodgers. So we still haven't really decided what the whole Deshaun Watson situation is going to be next year. I think they're more in the market for a veteran quarterback, whether it's a bridge quarterback or they're able to swing for the fences and get a player like that. Obviously, if you're going to trade for a Russell Wilson, you're going to have to give up multiple first-round picks. So I'm not totally sure where that's going to go, but watching the Steelers win it's pretty pathetic because the way they've played, like the way they beat the Titans was absolutely awful. Like Najee Harris had like 10 carries for 18 yards and Deontay had like 5 for 30. I don't know how they won the game. I didn't watch a bunch of football this year. I was just stat watching, but I just absolutely don't believe how they won that game.
They just got into field goal range a bunch of times.
I know the Titans did turn it over a few times in the red zone, and Chris Boswell kicked like 4 field goals. I think they scored 1 touchdown and 4. It
was a Ben Roethlisberger rush. That was their touchdown. Like I got to find the highlight on that.
Like the Najee Harris touchdown would have saved my ass. So it's not going to matter. But I believe it was a 1-yard QB sneak. So, oh well. But Tennessee struggling right now to, try to put together a few wins. Hopefully they're going to get Derrick Henry and AJ Brown back. But they're going to they haven't clinched the division. Obviously the Colts are kind of hot on their tail right now. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Moving on. Packers beat the Ravens in a heartbreaker for the Ravens. They go for the 2-point conversion and fail to win, which was smart because they are dealing with lots of injuries. And
that's twice this year they've done that.
Yeah, I think they just want to win. I don't think they like overtime.
Yeah, I think they just want to get it done. That was the same thing that happened last week when they played Pittsburgh. They went for the win, and I mean, you can't fault them for it. I mean, they're still in the playoff mix. Harbaugh trusting the players to try to execute, which is funny. I think I was doing a little stat research, and it wasn't like even on my radar. I really wasn't even looking about playing Tyler Huntley this week with Lamar out. Even with playing Tyler Huntley, I probably still would have lost with the Cooper Cup performance. Which is how bad it would have been. So yeah, I see you sent me a link.
Yep, I found the link to Ben Roethlisberger's first rushing touchdown in 3 years. But while you watch that, I'm going to continue in stating that Marquise Brown equals Jarvis Landry from the Miami Dolphins. 10 catches for 43 yards. I don't even know what that means with how much speed he has. Mark Andrews leads the way. And then all of a sudden, Devontae Freeman fell off a cliff.
They're still in the Ravens game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I was watching this Ben Roethlisberger touchdown. Yeah. And he was in by a mile too.
He just put his head down like this and like just shimmied in.
Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger and Tom Brady are like the king of quarterback sneaks. And
they use the 4K camera for that touchdown or 8, whatever it is. I don't even know.
Oh man.
8K? Whatever. I don't know what it is.
Whatever.
Aaron Jones saves his fantasy day with the touchdown. Valdez Scantling goes off. I believe Valdez Scantling had the game sealer. Yes, he did. Well, kind of.
5 for 98 in a tutty, I believe. I was very happy. I played him in one league and I won because of that. So very excited for that. Yeah, AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones still splitting some work.
Both relevant.
Both RB2s. So Aaron Rodgers, great. Devontae Adams, great. Devontae Adams will still be he'll be a first round pick next year. Since we're talking about some first round picks next year, he'll be right up there with Cooper Kupp. Because
49ers,
I was saying Cooper Kupp's averaging just
25,
over
5.
It's
over
like 20.
25.
Yeah, it's like 26 and a half points per game.
Which is
and
insane.
Devontae Adams last year averaged 25 and a half, and he only played 14 games last year. So he's on pace to be like, obviously he's
right about
already output Devontae Adams like in total points, but he's on pace to obviously be such, a great player. Yeah, studs.
49ers beat up on the Falcons. Debo does what Debo do. Jeff Wilson, 21 carries and the touchdown on 110 yards. Jeff Wilson will also get most of the work again next week as
Eli Mitchell. He's out.
Yep, he's been ruled out.
Yep, he has been ruled out already ahead of the Thursday night football game, which is good for somebody with all the bad news coming towards his team.
Russell Gage has been really hot lately.
Yeah, he's been real hot. Without Calvin Ridley and not utilizing Kyle Pitts, yeah, he's going to be the best player on the team.
And we're running long, so I'm going to push this through these last 5 games.
Quickly.
Saints beat the Buccaneers 9-0, a weird one. 3 injuries on the offense for the Buccaneers.
Yep, that's kind of the whole story of the game. Chris Godwin goes down, Mike Evans goes down, and Lenny Fournette goes down. And the Saints just kind of hold on 9-0, kind of not the game script we were looking at for that game, but perfect for the Saints. And they walk away with a 9-0 win. I think first time Tom Brady's been shut out in 15 years.
Bears have been in prime time a lot lately for no reason.
Too many times.
Vikings beat the Bears 17-9. Kirk Cousins is really good. This game was not a representation of it, but he's been very good, not in fantasy land, but in real football land.
You know, crazy stat. This is the most Kirk Cousins stat of all time. You ready for it?
Go for it.
And I may be wrong on the total numbers. I believe his career win-loss record is 58, 58, and 2.
Jeff Fisher?
Like that? Yeah, exactly. Like that's wild. Like his career is like he's 500 with 2 ties. So it's the most Kirk Cousins stat of all time. I believe he did start like 2-9 in primetime games.
He is 58, 58, and 2.
That is such a great stat. It's a wild stat. Maybe that's the title of the episode: 58, 58, and 2.
I like the land of zombie running backs.
The land of zombie running backs. That might be, yeah, that one takes the cake. Land of zombie running backs. Let's move on. That's from 58, 58, and 2.
Yeah, a game that was disappointing. I think I still hit on this bet. I think. Yes, I did. Never mind. This was a good game to watch. It was one of the only games I've watched in its entirety in weeks. I couldn't even tell you. It just so happened to be an afternoon Monday game. Raiders beat the Browns. The Browns had Nick Mullins.
You did not win that bet, by the way. Oh, you might have won it on DraftKings, but you didn't win it in the one that actually matters.
I won it on DraftKings. What bet was it? I can't remember.
I had the Raiders plus -1, and you had the Browns.
Oh, that's right. But on DraftKings, I took.
But on DraftKings, you took it anyway, so you had to go against it because I swapped and took the Chargers. Otherwise, it would have been like a wash of a week.
Yeah.
I swapped on the Chargers. You took the Raiders. It was kind of a push at that point.
Derek Carr wins it at the end after the Raiders tried really hard not to win that game.
Yeah. We'll get to this when we talk about the matchups that matter. But Luke was very thrilled with the outcome of the Raiders game.
Eagles beat the Washington football team. I thought this was a winnable game for the Washington football team until Garrett Gilbert was announced as the starter after being on the team for 5 days. He still put up a pretty valiant effort in the first half. Second half, Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts went off.
Yeah.
And Dallas Goedert the whole game.
Yeah, they're finally finding a way for Dallas Goedert to shine.
It's kind of funny that they jettisoned one tight end that they were paying a bunch of money to just to pay another tight end a bunch of money.
With Zach Ertz?
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works.
I finally traded him, which has been great for both teams, honestly. Yeah. So it finally worked out.
Rams beat the Seahawks. Rams take control of the division. The Seahawks, this was a really close game until Cooper Kupp took over.
Until Cooper Kupp did Cooper Kuppian things. That's what he does as the most important fantasy player of the 2021 season. Just completely unstoppable. It's crazy how unstoppable he is. There was a stat where I think he's the third most targeted wide receiver with help. I believe, like with obviously man-to-man coverage, but with help shaded towards his side. I think he's like 35% of his routes is like with help, which doesn't matter because he doesn't run a ton of deep routes, a bunch of deep overs where you can, get safeties helping down. He's running a lot more routes closer to the line of scrimmage, but he's also still running some deep shots. And I didn't watch much of this game, but he piles up catches, piles up yards, piles up touchdowns. Like, he's the best player in fantasy this year. And whoever has him, no matter what league it is winning fantasy games because of him. I lost out on a best ball tournament because of him. I had a huge lead in this best ball tournament. And I'm like, oh, Cooper Kupp needs to score like 30 points for me to lose this matchup. Cooper Kupp scores 35 points. So it's just a standard thing for Cooper Kupp. And I love Cooper Kupp too. Like that's the worst thing about it is I love Cooper Kupp. And I was a sheep. And I took Robert Woods. And I'm ashamed.
Sheep to the slaughter. Moving on.
Knife in the back.
Do we take a break?
No, let's push through. We got
things to do. I got company coming over. You are in a foreign land.
Yes.
Okay, first thing we should address is the 10 and 11 matchup, which technically started this week. Yes. Which is Christopher Redskins for Life lean and Garrett Brinkman Dark Horse.
Correct. So remember the Toilet Bowl is a 2-week semifinal. I have already updated.
Oh, really?
Yes. It takes a day to upload the projections, but Dark Horse
17.6 points.
A 17.6 point lead over lean. Early projections now have Dark Horse winning 136 to 107. Maybe lean can be a back-to-back toilet seater. Obviously, COVID is running rampant through the league. We will have to wait and see what happens throughout the week. And then the 9v12 is Brinkman versus Blaster. Brinkman has a cushy 15.14 lead. The projections have Blaster still winning the matchup. Brinkman has, a player on COVID and Sterling Shepard tore his Achilles. That's a big bummer. Speaking of injuries, obviously Shepard tore his Achilles. Chris Godwin, big bummer, ACL tear. We'll see what happens when he comes back next year. If he's back to start the year, if he's, a pup candidate. But yeah, those two teams still battling it out for the Toilet Bowl. Blaster's obviously got history on his side. Only 1 out of 7 toilet place champions, if you want to call them champions, toilet place finishers have finished 12th place and on the seat. So that is a good thing for him.
Heath continued his dominant ways. His team is very scary right now. 141.06 to 82.98, taking out Cole. Cole's team really has been slogging to the finish line. That's pretty much it. Jonathan Taylor, Mark
Andrews, Aaron
That's all you need.
Jones, James Robinson. His team has stayed hot and is going to stay hot. So that is one of the scariest teams we've talked about. We talked about the 4 teams that probably have the rosters to do it are the 4 teams that have made the semifinals. But we thought Luke and Heath's team were definitely the most complete, as well as yours. There was 3 teams that had the most complete teams, and 3 of those teams have made the semifinals. And with Heath and the big story about it, obviously he has Jonathan Taylor and Hunter Renfrow, Mark Andrews, Aaron Jones, James Robinson, all these guys that are going off. Matthew Stafford's been great. Antonio frickin' Brown making a
He's not been practicing.
I know he's been suspended. He's been suspended the last 3 weeks. He was hurt the 3 weeks prior to that.
Well, he's not practicing this week either. He hasn't been.
Well, they played. He'll be fine. He's playing this weekend. Mark my words. He's playing.
Okay.
With no Chris Godwin,
and probably no Mike Evans.
Fournette, no Mike Evans. Antonio Brown can come out on Sunday. Tom Brady brought him there for a reason. He might rack up 12 for 170 and 2 tutties. Who knows?
Yeah. Or it could be a Scotty Miller game. Who knows?
Jalen Darton or Tyler Johnson. I mean, pick your poison.
Great.
Rob Gronkowski. I mean, there's options. Tom
Rojo. Brady. It's not going to be Rojo.
Rojo will go for like 15 carries for like
27 for 112.
Yeah. But that is the definition of a league winner. If AB gets hot and
these last 2 weeks, oh my God.
And Heath has him.
Another Bucks wide receiver.
Yeah, great.
He's going to determine the championship. Are you kidding me?
Like 2 years ago is Brashard Perriman. Like it's just absolutely
he's on
crazy.
that roster again.
Yeah. So watch Brashard Perriman be the guy.
That'd be insane.
But Heath is looking pretty good, obviously. He is going to match up against the 2-time champ any given Sunday.
Who just beat Patrick thanks to some late game heroics from Jalen Hurts, 117.74 to 85.96. You just talked to whom?
Yeah, I talked to Sackett earlier today. He was actually surprised that he was able to pull out the win after the lackluster Saturday night game between, the Thursday game from Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Ramondre Stevenson, and all those guys.
Not looking good.
Yeah, he thought he was kind of done for. Obviously, he gets the big game from Russell Gage, which he plays, good for him. And, the big game from Jalen Hurts. Patrick had a lackluster day. Obviously, he's battled injuries all year. No Elijah Mitchell, and he didn't play Amon-Ra St. Brown or Miles Sanders. May have been a difference in the game, but I haven't crunched the numbers. But Cordero Patterson, Darrell Henderson didn't quite do what they've been doing all year. And obviously Tom Brady, with all the injuries that happened, scores sub 5 points. So Patrick, a champion, is been bounced from the playoffs. So we have a any given Sunday versus
two champs were bounced.
2 champs were bounced. And Dalton, go ahead and break it down.
Not so fast. First, we're going to talk about Luke eking one out over Drew on
one out
Monday afternoon.
Yep, he did eke it out finally Monday afternoon. We had to look at all the tiebreakers because there was
Zach and I were texting nonstop. I watched the game.
We were wondering what the tiebreaker would be if for some reason there was going to be a tie, because if Daniel Carlson, the Raiders kicker, would have just got 2 points, there would have been a tie, which I really wasn't worried about a tie. I figured they'd score more than 2 points. Obviously, he scored 10. Didn't matter.
I was worried about a tie.
Didn't matter anyway. Luke would have won the tiebreaker based on the tiebreakers. We may have to address the playoff tiebreakers next year,
since we almost had a situation where we would have had to address it.
The playoff tiebreaker right now is the higher seed wins. I definitely think we need to address that if it's best record in the regular season or most points or head-to-head in the regular season or
bench points, which I like,
but like higher bench points, because we just have to decide what that's going to be. But Luke does squeak it out. He does have to balance it out with Leonard Fournette getting hurt, Eckler not playing a full complement of snaps, Diggs having a subpar game, Chase not doing well, but gets the big game from George Kittle as well with Jeff Wilson. Very surprised he went with Chuba Hubbard over some of the players he swapped out last minute for a Duke Johnson or a Braxton Berrios. Even if he had Braxton Berrios in there till last minute, swapped him out. He played Braxton Berrios. Game's over. Doesn't matter. He's panicking on Monday and picks up a second. Panicking on Monday, picks up a second kicker, debating what to do, and ends up rolling with the guy he had all along with Daniel Carlson. Goes for 10 points, gets him the dub, moves him on to the semifinals. 2 wins away from the Triple Crown, exactly where Brinkman got 4 years ago, the semifinals for the Triple Crown. Can he muster the courage and the lineup to take on Dalton, Van Pelt, and Scotch on the sidelines as he takes down the commissioner? Break it down. Congratulations. You have the better team. I always say the better team wins.
2 words for you. Thursday and Tuesday. We
Thursday,
really had
Tuesday.
to sweat this one out. Zach made the last late second switch between Devontae Smith and Van Jefferson. It didn't matter.
Nope. Not at all.
The whole thing hinged on whether or not Stafford was targeting only Cooper Kupp or if he was spreading the ball between Beckham and Jefferson.
I went with the Rams
if this was a non-Cooper Kupp game, I don't win.
Yeah, I went with the total Rams onslaught. That was my thinking. Obviously, like it maybe cost me 5 points. Obviously, it didn't matter. But Dallas Goedert and Matt Gay did exactly what I wanted. But it was a Cooper Kuppian type game, as is every game. I went with the Rams.
It was possible.
It was possible. Like the game theory was there. That's fine. Like I went game theory strategy at that point. I'm playing catch up. So good for you, Dalton. Big win for you, obviously, Cooper Kupp and Travis Kelce. COVID's running rampant through the Chiefs offense right now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that.
Basically, what's going to happen is I have a waiver wire request in currently for a tight end. If I don't get said tight end, if Kelce starts, Kelce's playing. But if not, I do have a backup plan who's all right.
And you should know by Saturday. I mean that's the thing. It came out on Monday that he had tested positive, I believe. It's just waiting to see if he's vaccinated or whatnot, but he is vaccinated. Option, so he has the capability of returning to play faster. Yes. So the only Chiefs player it looks like is ruled out is the Chiefs kicker. He is unvaccinated.
Butker.
Yep.
He's a Suck Up Cup champion, Harrison Butker.
Yes, sir.
My biggest issue is the running back situation. I did something I hate doing and started 3 running backs. Good thing I did because I needed all the points from the 3rd running back I started.
Correct.
Going into this next week, Gaskin and Carter are both in a timeshare. So figuring out who I'm starting at running back is going to be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the upper hand. I mean, so let's preview a little bit.
We got 2 games to preview. So since we already previewed the toilet bowl games, and we don't really need to talk about roster construction or anything like that, they'll be lucky to put up 80 points.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We got yourself versus Luke. Luke's struggling with injuries. Obviously, Leonard Fournette is most likely going to be out. Austin Eckler just placed on the COVID list today. It looks like he is not going to play. So,
which is huge for me.
Huge. He does get Jeff Wilson. So
it's going to be Jeff Wilson and
probably
either
Chuba.
Duke Johnson or Chuba.
Probably Chuba.
Chuba's been disappointing.
But I mean, you got to pick something, man.
Right.
His receivers can scare you. So
or they can do nothing. Jalen Waddle could have 14 catches, and Jamar Chase could score 2 touchdowns. Or,
Yeah, it's crazy. Early projections have you winning. Obviously, we got to see what happens with Luke with the yes.
Currently, I see early projections say I'm losing, but it also is not accounting for Kelce points.
That's not what I see.
I'm on the computer.
Yeah. So am I. Either way, I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter.
I haven't looked in the last
projections don't matter.
Yeah, projections don't matter. So you are 1 win away from Jersey. So
that would be nice. I haven't had one since the 2nd season.
Yep, and Luke is looking for his first. There are 3. There's a 75% chance there's a new league champion this year.
Wow.
Going to the second matchup with a 2-time champ still in it, and Cody Sackett. He is playing Heath. We have talked about Heath's lineup and how good his players are and how he can go off at any point. He's probably been the most
look at him.
consistent. Yeah, he's been the most consistent, probably points wise. And with Sackett losing Chris Godwin, and if Antonio Brown plays, that's a big swing for Heath.
Basically, he's just going to plug him in for Devontae Freeman based on the way his roster looks.
And Sackett, I mean, James Conner still kind of nicked up. Pat Freiermuth is in concussion protocol. But I will never count out Cody Sackett, the two-time champ.
No.
He always finds a way.
He might start McNichols. He picked up Hilliard too. He might start a Tennessee running back because Deontay Foreman's a little bit banged up for Thursday night.
We'll have to wait and see. I was talking to Sackett.
James Conner should be back too.
We did talk about Luke and Sackett being 1 week removed from scoring 170 points, and now they are dragging ass into the semifinals. And Dalton and Heath are the hot teams. It's crazy how fast fantasy football changes
especially in the playoffs.
Exactly, it's a 3
week playoffs are always weird.
So yeah, that's the semifinals. We have Dalton and Luke, Heath and Sackett, potential chance.
Lumberjack Symphony semifinal.
The Lumberjack semifinal. Love it. We'll recap the bets real fast. We'll keep moseying.
I think it's your turn for the bets.
It is. I'm gonna go fast here.
We already reviewed all of the other bets. What's the total score sitting at is all we need to know.
It is. Here we go. So Dalton, you went 3-2 this week. With the win at -2.5 for the Colts, -3 for the Chiefs, and we both tied for the Pats Colts over under completions. I took home the Raiders bet. So 3-2. Running total is Zach still at 22-19. A lot of season-long bets up for grabs still, which is the most fun one is the Rams and Cardinals bet. So that's still close.
I thought you were going to be talking about the Jets and Cowboys, but I'm pretty sure you have that one.
Well, I haven't looked at that one yet, but the Rams and Cardinals are both tied at 10-4, so that's close down to the wire as well. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I obviously have not been prepared for the bets. We are going to go back to our unofficial sponsor of DraftKings and Wild Turkey.
All right.
So
back to the Wild Turkey. The Wild Turkey weekly bets sponsored by DraftKings.
Yes. And we're going to go. So you have the first pick.
Okay.
I am a big fan of the large.
I've got my app open.
I'm a big fan of the large spreads.
Because they're weird.
They are weird. We're going to go with let's see some of the large spreads here. Large spreads.
There's a pick 'em on here.
Yeah, there is. Jacksonville Jets. That's crazy.
Aye.
Let's go. I think this is a pretty large spread. But we will. Which one do you think?
Looks like I only have 10% battery left on my computer, but
okay. We're gonna go fast. Let's go. So you get the first pick. Large spread. Tampa Bay 10-point road favorites over the Panthers.
Against the Panthers.
Yep.
Give me the Panthers to cover.
Okay, I will take the
10.
Buccaneers. That's fine. I'll lay the 10.
I just think game script.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's go.
Just place my bet on the Panthers.
How about the Atlanta Falcons are a 6-point home favorite over the Lions.
Is it my pick or yours?
It is my pick. I will.
If you want me to pick, I'll pick that one.
Okay, let me see if there's another game. If you have a look for that, how about a this one's a fun one. But it could be a blowout. How about I don't know. That's probably.
Do you want me to just pick on the Lions Falcons while you think?
Yep, go pick.
Give me the Lions +6. I'm going to keep being a believer, even though that spread is not very favorable.
All right, I will take the -6.
All right.
And then I'll pick this first one. Then How about see if I can. There's really there's really no easy money on here. I think there's only one maybe easy money.
Once you give this last pick, I've got my lock of the week.
The lock of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your? See, I'm curious to see what your lock of the week is because I might want to just go against.
Not saying until
okay. All right. How about the? Here we go.
Oh my gosh, this is some dead air. This is me last week. There's a ton of tough spreads on here.
There are really a lot of tough spreads on here. None that I really like. I
see some free money on there, but
yeah, there is free money. I'm gonna go this one on here. I think this is a make or break game for both these coaches. I'm gonna go Seattle 6.5 point favorites at home. I'm gonna take Seattle over the Bears.
Wow.
I think it's a make or break game for both these coaches.
Okay, give me the Bears plus 6.5.
I think it's a tough spread to look at.
That's a tough spread.
But
that was a good pick.
But Seattle definitely it's make or break for both coaches right now. So I think this could be a Seattle. Hopefully they need to blow the doors open. What's your lock of the week?
So there's some free money on there, which is Rams minus 2.5. I'm saying Rams minus 4 at plus 110 is a bet that I'm going to plug in here, but that's not my lock of the week.
That was one that I was looking at as well.
I changed it to minus 4
because the Vikings have been so good in close games. So
okay.
The Vikings, all their games but one have been a one score game. So
my lock of the week is Miami money line plus 140 over the Saints.
There you go. Sweet.
I'm taking a parlay between.
I thought the Raiders Broncos was interesting as well. It's honestly just -1 for the Raiders.
I don't know how to pick on that one.
Neither do I. I think the Raiders will still win that game.
I don't like betting with the Broncos. We all know this.
Negatory. But the land of dead zone running or land of zombie running backs.
The land of zombie running backs. That's an episode, folks.
The land of zombie running backs into week 16. Congratulations and good luck to the semifinal teams of Dalton, Lucas, Heath, and Sackett. I'll have a stat hopefully next week. I didn't look at it. I believe this might be one of the few times that all the higher seeds won. The 1,
I think it is
4,
the only time.
The 1, the 4, the 3, and the 2.
I think it might be the only time that's ever happened.
It's been crazy. But as I always say, I always believe the better team always wins, whether they are the high seed or the lower. Whoever has the best roster usually wins. And next week, we will be down to 2 teams in the Suck Up Cup Championship and
the Toilet Bowl.
So good luck to the 8 teams who still have
something to play for,
something to fight for. Everyone else, Drew, me, Cole, and Patrick, welcome to the offseason, boys.
Yeah, it's over.
Let's just set a lineup. Nobody cares. Still set a valid lineup. You still want to maybe potentially win, but
stay off those waiver wire guys, by the way, please.
I have no waivers. I was making waiver moves yesterday as I was
pick up some zeros.
I was prepping for a potential comeback. So I was making moves yesterday.
I know you picked up a very hot player in the process.
Yep. So I was hoping as I was making those moves to prepare for next week, but in honor of the folks that are still competing, I will most likely not be making any waiver moves tonight, and probably not the rest of the year. With that'll
do it, folks.
Good luck with your zombie running backs.